Hello there underwater enthusiasts, and welcome back to my channel. My name is B and I am a freelance scuba instructor based in Roatan. Today we are diving into the exciting world of scuba instruction jobs. So when it comes to scuba instruction, there are two main gigs. You have your full-time scuba instructors and then you have your freelance scuba instructors. And today we're going to be breaking down the nitty-gritty of what it's like to be a freelance scuba instructor versus a full-time scuba instructor. So grab your fins and let's dive right in. First off, let's start with freelance scuba instructors. I like to think of these guys as the free spirits of the diving world. You're out doing your own thing and usually you're on a contract basis for dive centres, resorts and sometimes private guests. As a freelance instructor, you get to call the shots, you set your own schedule and you get to pick the dreamiest work locations. You're basically the captain of your own dive boat. And then on the flip side, we have full-time scuba instructors. These pros are usually employed by dive centres, resorts, or educational organisations. They have a more structured gig, often with a set schedule and organisational commitments. It's like being part of a big scuba family where everyone has their own role to play and it's like a well-oiled dive boat. The work environments for these two different types of scuba instructors is like night and day. Freelancers have this incredible freedom and flexibility. They get to choose where and when they work, and they're often in different spots all the time, meeting new people and exploring different dive sites. On the other hand, we have our full-time instructors who are like the steady anchors of the underwater world. They've got their home base, they're part of a team, and they're focused on creating a consistent, top-notch experience for their students and clients. It's all about building that community and becoming a real expert in your diving domain. So whether you are a freelance free spirit or a diving devotee, there is no denying both options have their own charm. So the first thing that I'm actually going to speak about is basically what everyone is here for: money. So when it comes to being a scuba instructor, you're never going to make a shed ton of money. At the end of the day, money makes the world go round, and it is crucial to think about your financial compensation as a dive instructor before you decide whether you're going to be freelance or full-time. So freelancers often have a wide range of income potential. You can set your own rates and you can negotiate with different dive centres for a better deal. So for instance, here in Roatan, which is the only place that I've worked as a scuba instructor, so that is where all of my information is going to be coming from. There's a general kind of set price, but if you're busy on one day and you have more than one dive centre asking you to work and they're desperate, you can say, hey, I'm being offered this somewhere else, can you match it? On the flip side, full-timers can't really do that. If you are with a shop and you're full-time at one shop, you're expected to be loyal to that shop. The good thing is though, you are going to have a more consistent paycheck. So here in Roatan, we have high season and low season. And as you kind of guessed, in high season, freelancers are busy all the time. And so are full-time instructors. But in low season, it's very hard to find work as a freelance instructor. All of the dive shops already have their dive team. So they have 3 or 4 instructors sat in the shop ready to go. And there's not enough people to bring in a freelancer to work. So if I'm sat in a full-time dive shop and I don't dive that day, I don't take customers out, I don't teach, my colleague is teaching, I will get half of what he makes, or whatever the pool situation is. So even though there isn't enough work to go around everyone, I still get paid. So if you are becoming a freelance instructor, you need to be careful about slow season. Either come up with a different way to make money, for instance working in a bar or a restaurant, or have a side gig going on. I personally do both of those things. I actually work in a restaurant once a week at least. And then on top of that, I have my side gig, which is social media management and also my own social media page. So I know that in slow season, I have enough money to get me through the season. I do not have enough money to save any money. That's what busy season is for. A mistake I see a lot is freelancers who are new to the industry will start earning money in high season and being like, oh my God, this is amazing. It's great. They get to slow season and they are desperate for money because they haven't saved in their high season. And it's super sad, but a lot of people end up either leaving the island or moving elsewhere because they just can't find work. If you intend to stay somewhere, you need to save in high season to be able to follow through slow season. Freelancers have this amazing freedom and flexibility, but stability can be a bit of a roller coaster. We have periods of time where work is plentiful. Just as I said earlier, we are going to be working every single day of the week, but we have slow seasons where we are going to have no work, or maybe one job a week. On the other hand, full-timers definitely have more stability. They have a regular schedule, they have benefits, and usually a steady flow of students and clients. Irregardless of all of the information I just told you about high season, low season, freelance, and full-timers, it's important to remember that the financial side of being a scuba instructor in the first place is a balancing act. We don't get into this job for the money, and things can happen in an instant. It's about weighing up your freedom and your flexibility with stability and a more consistent stream of income. So the next thing I want to talk about is career growth. The reason I want to talk about this is because of something that actually happened to me. As soon as I finished my IDC, my IE, my instructor exam, I got hired at a dive shop as a full-time dive instructor, and I really enjoyed it. I was there for 10 months. I then moved on and decided to become a freelance instructor, which I'll talk about in a minute. But for now, I'm just going to talk about the career growth that I had being a full-time instructor. Working with the same people every day and also getting to know their habits and unique teaching styles was a great learning opportunity for me. The other thing as well is the other instructors that worked at my dive shop were way more experienced than me. I was a brand new instructor straight out of the IE, and they had been doing this for 8+ years. I learned so much in those first 10 months being a scuba instructor at a full-time shop because I was fully immersed in the diving community all the time. On top of that, I had people around me who were really experienced. I had staff instructors, I had master scuba diver trainers, and it was a great learning curve for me. That doesn't mean you can't learn as a freelance scuba instructor. It's just going to be a little bit more difficult to form those long-lasting relationships with people in the diving community because you're always hopping between shops. On an average week, I would say I hop between 3 or 4 different shops. Sometimes I might be at a shop for a whole week because they need me for the whole week. However, most of the time I'll be at one shop for 2 days, another shop for 1 day, maybe another shop for 3 days, and then I'll have a day off. So although I'm seeing all these people maybe once a week, I'm not fully in their dive shop family. I partially am, but I'm not as close as everyone else who works together every single day of the year. And I can't expect to have the same relationship that those people have with each other when I'm just coming in for 1 day a week. So I'm not going to build those really strong relationships where you then get a load of knowledge and you actually gain experience from those relationships and those people. However, that is also a really fun side of being a freelance instructor, is that you get to work at all the different shops. Every different shop has different people, it has different dive sites that they're going to go to, and it has a different operating style. It keeps it really fun and interesting, and I actually really enjoy having that aspect of being a freelance diving instructor, is that you get to kind of spice it up every now and again and try different dive shops and do different things. Going back to the family dive shop thing, you're not going to be super close with everyone. You might not be part of the full-time family, but you are still part of family. Most dive shops make you feel that way, and so if you're not, then you're getting a bad vibe. I wouldn't go and work there again, unless it was slow season and I was really desperate. But for the most part, I work at places that I actually enjoy, and I work at places that I think are a reputable dive centre. A centre that is student forward, puts guests first, and is safe. And of course is within PADI standards. A full-time job is a coveted thing here in Roatan. The vast majority of people prefer to be full-time. It's actually quite hard to get a full-time job unless it's at the beginning of busy season. This kind of ties in too to being a brand new freelancer or to being a well-established freelancer on the island. For instance, I have been on the island for 2.5 years now. 10 months I was a full-time instructor, and for 3 of those months I was doing my dive master and instructor. So I've actually only been a freelance instructor for about 1.5 years. However, I am now in the height of my second busy season, and I have also done 2 slow seasons. It's in this time that I have built relationships with dive shops and made myself an established name in the diving community, so that when dive shops need a freelancer, they'll be like, ooh, B. Building these relationships is a key part of getting freelance work. If you have not built a relationship with these people, these dive shop owners, the dive shop staff, the dive shop instructors that are full-time, you might not be able to get work as a freelance instructor because the person who has done that is going to get called first. So networking yourself as a freelance instructor is crucial. Whether that be going out to bars, just don't make an idiot of yourself, of course, but whether that be going out to the bars, drinking with scuba instructors who might then put your name forward to their managers and their managers will call you, or going into the dive shops and paying for dives to show them that you are a well-equipped dive instructor. Show them your work ethic, show them working in the shop and helping setting up gear. It's all about networking as a freelance instructor. As a full-time instructor, you don't have to worry about finding work because dive shops will find it for you, whether that's through online, social media, or walk-ins. Whereas as a freelancer, you have to market yourself. I'm going to end this on saying one thing that I do miss about being a full-time instructor, and that is the relationships that you make with the clients. Diving is a very social sport, and a lot of the people that come diving in Roatan come every year. They will be here 1 year and then the next and then the next at the same time every single year and at the same dive shop every single year. Some of the relationships that I've made with people as a full-time instructor will last a lifetime. Luckily, because the island is so small and it is literally 1 mile of road, I get the opportunity to see them again because they walk past, but I don't get to see them at that dive shop anymore. And this is one of the things that I miss about being a full-time instructor, is every time they come back, you get to dive with that group again, and it is like a little family. As a freelance instructor, you don't get that. You might get repeat customers coming back. 1 week you might be at one dive shop, and then the next year when they come back, you might be at a different dive shop and they might not need you to work in that dive shop or to take those people out. So you might see them on the street and at the bars, but unfortunately you won't get to dive with those people again and again and again, like you would if you were a full-time instructor. At the end of the day, no matter what path you choose, being a scuba diving instructor is about sharing your love for the underwater world, helping others discover the magic of diving, and making sure everyone is safe and happy. I know I've rambled a lot and I hope it hasn't been too hard to listen to. So if you did like this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next week for another little chat.